Well, the Giants just shuffled up a bunch of stuff by trading Dexter Lawrence to the Cincinnati Bengals, which still asks the question, who's going to block for Joe Burrow?
Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the Odd Coaches Podcast, the global authority on coaching leadership, where coaching wisdom meets real talk. I am your host, Dr. Keith Adams, and on today's Top Shelf Tuesday edition, NFL Draft Preview, we're going to talk about the big stories and trades that have taken place. Segment 2, coaching and how long you guys should be hitting in the NFL. There was some critiques on Coach Harbaugh. We'll have that conversation. And in segment 3, replacement refs, safety and security are our number one priorities until money comes involved. With us today, Captain for Life, Will Cotton, and Teacher of the Month every month, Mike Connors. Connors, I'm going to start off with you because I kind of can guess what your big story is, but fans, to set you up, the draft is April 23rd through 25th. It's going to be in Pittsburgh. Shout out to D. Skippy, friend of the show and Pittsburgh alum. So, Mike, what's the big story for you headed into the draft? If there's a team you're looking at, if there's a player you're looking at, what's going on, sir?
Well, the Giants just shuffled up a bunch of stuff by trading Dexter Lawrence to the Cincinnati Bengals, which still asks the question, who's going to block for Joe Burrow? But Dexter Lawrence was traded. He was not happy with the way his contract was ending up. He had no guaranteed money this year. I don't know if the regime change had anything to do with it, with Harbaugh coming in, but the Giants have traded Dexter Lawrence for a number 10 the first round pick, the number 10 overall, which kind of shifts the Giants in a big way, because before the Giants had the 5th pick, a second round pick, and then nothing again till the 4th. So having 2 top 10 picks gives them a lot of room to play with. And it also freed up $20 million in cap room. Now, I love Sexy Dexy. I mean, he was a great player. But until this, I had heard that he was good in the locker room, has a big New York logo tattooed on his arm, so I thought he was a long hauler. But he was not happy. He expressed that very openly in the press. He did not report to offseason workouts, and all the headlines were the last couple of days is that they were in an impasse, and they were able to deal him. Now, considering he was the number 17 pick when he came out of the draft and the 3rd Clemson defensive lineman in that year's draft, and they were able to trade him for a number 10 overall pick. That's a pretty good draft decision for the Giants. Now, Dexter Lawrence is a 3-time Pro Bowler in 4 years. Last year, he had a very bad year for him. He had a mediocre defensive tackle season. There was a lot of talk of injuries. He did hurt an elbow the end of the season before. Did that have some effect? Was it the fact that the coaching staff knew that they were lame ducks and then they were done away with? There's a whole bunch of stories that could go into it. But all in all, Dexter Lawrence wanted a fresh start somewhere else. He's now got that. Cincinnati Bengals are not the dream destination, but it's not a bad destination. They have a lot of tools. They have a lot of holes. Joe Burrow, excellent quarterback, taking them to a Super Bowl already. Great receiver core, but we have expressed our concerns with his safety and the lack of ability to throw from one's back. But that being said, their defense is pretty solid. The Giants got a boatload of value for him in a number 10 pick, $20 million in cap space, a number 5 and number 10 pick. Unfortunately, this is such a poo-poo draft that it's not like I'll give up 2 top 10 picks for the number 1 overall. Giants don't need a quarterback that's going to go number 1 overall. And after that, there's a lot of equality in the next 6 or 7 players. So the Giants can get 2 very, very good players. Hopefully 1 immediate starter and then an excellent player after that. But we'll see what happens. But the Giants just gave themselves a lot of room to either deal, move up, deal, move down, get more value picks. So we'll see what happens. The Giants have a lot of needs, so they could go a lot of different ways.
All right. Cotton Man, congratulations on the new uniforms. That was all over social media this past week. Is there any team or player that you are extra interested in as the draft is this week?
Well, I've been hearing a lot about Jeremiyah Love, and we've spent a lot of time, Coach, watching football. You know, fortunately, we don't get paid for it, but
strictly for entertainment purposes only.
Well, yes, of course, you know, but even from in terms of the organization standpoint, I think we can all agree unless you're a team that's ready to win right now, I would not take a look at Jeremiah Love, just because it's a luxury pick. It's a luxury pick for me. The Commanders have a lot of options. They have a lot of holes, especially on defense. I mean, good Lord, I think they were like 29th or 32nd in defense last year. They couldn't get a pass rush. They couldn't guard anyone they had to. You had the opportunity now. You have a really good safety, Caleb Downs. I think that you're in the mix for that. I think you're also with Ruben Bain. I'm sorry, T-Rex. As we like to call him over here at the podcast. But you also have Sonny Style, and that kid is an amazing. His metrics are great. We need a linebacker. We need a fast inside linebacker because we could not match up with tight ends or inside releases, things like that. So I think there's a lot of great options for the Commanders, but a terrible option for them is Jeremiah Love. You cannot sort of latch this player with this, we're going to combine him with JD5 and this dynamic. And I'm like, what we saw last, the team that won the Super Bowl, they were loaded on defense. Yeah, they didn't have look. Their running back, they just let him go. He plays for Kansas City. The quarterback they got that nobody wanted, they brought him in and paid him money. They had two running backs. Charbonnet. That guy wasn't they don't have a receiver. They got rid of Metcalf. They got rid of the other Tyler Lockett. They didn't have they obviously they have JSN. Don't get me wrong, that kid's a ball, but they drafted him. Down the line. I mean, you don't need to go out and spend this money on a top 10 pick with a running back. I'm sorry. Look at previously. Who is Zeke playing? Who is Saquon playing with right now after he was drafted? He's not the team that drafted him. It's the same thing with the kid from Boise. I forgot his name.
Ashton Jeanty.
Jeanty. He probably won't be with the Raiders the rest of his career. Jonathan Taylor has problem. If it wasn't for them having this anomaly season where they made the playoffs, I'm sure he would have got traded mid-season. Don't
forget Bijan.
Bijan. I mean, Bijan is a prime candidate who's, if it's not working out in 2 years, guess who's going to get traded? He is.
And even Christian McCaffrey got traded too to give you more data.
Don't go with Jeremiah Love. It's just not needed. It's the flashy, it's the flashy look. It's the sexy pick, but it's not the pick that you need to make, Commanders, to get better on the side of the ball that matters more.
All right. So we want to talk about the pay cut reality, college versus the NFL. And we had this conversation a little bit on we will have this conversation on our basketball show. But the primary reason that a lot of these players are staying in college is because the NFL rookie wage scale. While top 10 picks sign massive guaranteed deals, players drafted in rounds 4 through 7 often earn a base salary near the league minimum of $825,000 to $1 million, or the new WNBA salaries. Okay, once you put it in perspective. So you got a guy like Trinidad Chamberlain, who's expected to make $5 to $6 million this year at Ole Miss, and if he was a second or third round pick, he'd make $1 to $2 million. Carson Beck was paid over $3 million last year by Miami to stay as a projected fourth round pick. His rookie salary is going to be around $1 million. It goes on and on. So Connors, I'm going to start with you with this. How are you feeling about players staying in college? Can't believe we're saying it like this. Is this a good idea, bad idea? Is there some sustainability to this? What are you thinking?
I don't know if there's sustainability, but let's look at it from an objective perspective of their businessmen. The average NFL career is 2.4 years long or something like that. So if you can stay in college and make triple what you're going to make in your rookie year, I mean, that's life-changing money. Now, what you have to do, and this is the saddest statement I can make. If you make $4 million as a senior quarterback in college, you can't live on that money forever. But that's a great nest egg to have and work besides that and have that to fall back on. I mean, there's your guarantee to have a home forever. You're never going to miss meals. You can't have a luxurious lifestyle for 50 years. But most of these guys, they're going to college. Well, they should be going to classes, even though Beck stated that he hadn't been to classes in 2 years. Okay. So this is a business for them. College football is a business now. It drives me crazy saying that, but that's what it is. So if these young men make a business plan, they have managers now. It's not like before where they couldn't talk to agents and everything beforehand. And they can come up with a long-term plan of, okay, if we transfer from Georgia, where we made good money, and go to Miami for 1 year, make great money, and then go into the NFL. And let's be honest, Carson Beck is not going to be most likely, you can never say never, but he is not going to have a Patrick Mahomes-like career. Can he go in and maybe challenge for a couple of years and be maybe a starter or maybe a career backup? And you know what? That's a pretty good career. They make money. He's shown that he's intelligent. He's shown that he has physical skills. He's shown that he can learn different offenses. That's what you want in as a backup quarterback. Tyrod Taylor has made a career off of this. Geno Smith has made a career off of this. And Keith's favorite athlete in the history of mankind, Kirk Cousins, has bounced around the league because he's intelligent. He's athletic. He can learn different offenses. And he's worth more than $250 million now. So these kids have a plan. It's not, okay, go to school for 3 years, then come out a year early because I'm going to make money that's structured over 5 years. Hopefully I stay healthy and hopefully I can sign a big contract then. That's not the way it works anymore. So if these kids are going to stay in for a 5th year, some of them 6th year, that one quarterback 9 years from Western Kentucky, and make some money for him, how can you get mad at him? Is the system broken? Hell yes. Does it need to be fixed? Hell yes. But until then, make your bag, young man. Make your bag.
God, man, you are a brilliant young scholar. How are we feeling about them staying for the money? But really, are they getting that degree? What are you thinking, man?
You can always go back and get your degree. You can always do online classes. You can find different ways to find a degree if that's what you want to. But yeah, stay as long as you can, and as long as they're paying you as much as you can. Because that was a lot of the issues that we have with younger kids going and jumping to the pros sooner than they should have, or leaving from a situation that didn't suit them, as I should say. Now you can buy mama a house. You don't even have to wait till the pros. You can get her a house if you want. A lot of this stuff is already bought. Your clothes are bought. You're wearing university gear. Your food is 5-star. It's not like you're getting slop. You go to the team locker room or the building, wherever it's housed, the athletic house. You're getting you're getting steak, you're getting, prime rib, you're getting whatever you want.
Tray table's good at some of these schools.
You don't have to pay for any medical situation, things like that. Even now, a lot of these guys have partners, and they get, they're included. Hey, I have kids. Bam, he got health insurance too. There's no rush. Also, now there's not a lot of pressure for you to go in the first round. Now you can go in the second round, late first, and go to a team that really supports you and your position and your skill set. So there's not like, I got to get in the top 5, because if you're not in the top 5, you're not making money. Well, if I've played my money right and I get out of college and I've spent 5 years and I've made, let's say, $3 million a year, you're already out $10 million. You're up. Yeah. You're winning. You're making more than you would your first year if you're in the first rounder. So why not take that pick and say, well, talk to teams and say, look, I'm already paid. If you guys want me in the second round, take me. I won't be upset if you want to take a lineman, if you take an edge rusher, if you take a cornerback, just make sure I end up on the Patriots. Make sure I end up on the Steelers. Make sure I end up on the Packers. Don't send me over to Las Vegas, because don't do that, please. Don't send me to Cleveland. As nice as it is, I don't want to go to Miami. That's a lot of leverage. So I'm with it, man. I think the kids got to use it the right way. I would love to hear if they go back and get their degrees, whether it makes or makes not. But there's not a lot of pressure. And Connor says, as we've understood, as we get older, you don't have to be the superstar to make money. I mean, look at RG3. That guy got paid he got first, second overall. And where's he doing now? He's a commentator. Meanwhile, the guy who was taken after him, that was supposed to be, why did you do that? Da 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 da. That guy has hung around for over 10 years. I think 15 years now or 14 years.
Yeah.
And he's
been getting guaranteed money the last 11.
Yeah, and then he's going to parlay that to a broadcast deal, which is another nice little joint. So, there's in my opinion, being drafted in the first round now sounds good, but there's a lot of options, especially now that they're making money, that you can position yourself for the long term with the right team. And that allows you that when you already have money. So that's kind of my spiel about it, but I support it.
I love it. And as we close this segment, it's one of the reasons why we created the CKA virtual internship program, because our interns do have access to financial planners. They do have access to NIL experts, and they're able to maneuver a lot of things while they're in college. And Mike and I are both educators. That's why you go to school, so you can learn and be better moving forward. So with that, in segment 2, we're going to have a talk about how long should you have these hard practices. Coach Harbaugh got some nasty critiques. I want to talk to my former player and see what he thinks. We'll be right back on the Odd Coaches Podcast.
Today's student athletes face pro-level challenges without pro-level support. The CKA SAVE project is here to change that. For 16 plus years, Dr. Keith Adams and his team have provided comprehensive academic and athletic support from middle school through post-graduation transitions. NIL guidance, transfer portal navigation, academic coaching, career planning, they've got it covered. The CKA SAVE project. When your future is on the line, experience matters. Learn more at www.ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast. In segment 2, the John Harbaugh practice fallout. So, Ravens wide receiver Zay Flowers claims that John Harbaugh's school approach to practice, characterized by frequent padded sessions and high-intensity drills late in the year, was the primary cause of the team's injury woes. Flowers highlighted that the team was still performing full-speed one-on-one drills as late as week 17, stating players simply couldn't manage the workload. Injuries decimated Baltimore's final season under Harbaugh. They were 8-9. In a week 5 blowout loss to Houston, the Ravens were missing 7 Pro Bowlers, including Lamar Jackson. Jesse Mentor, Harbaugh's replacement and a former Ravens assistant, has reportedly promised Flowers a more modern, player-friendly workout load designed to keep the roster fresher for the game. Despite the criticism, Harbaugh leaves as the winningest coach in franchise history. Flowers admitted Harbaugh was unparalleled in his ability to mentally and physically prepare players for the violence of Sunday. While Flowers blamed practice for end-of-season fatigue, the Ravens were statistically at their healthiest by the finale. Will, you played for me. I am very big on easing up as the season goes on and being more game focused, but we played basketball. You played both football and basketball. What do you think about the critique of Coach Harbaugh from Zay Flowers?
So the funny thing is, in high school, coach, we had kind of the same situation our senior year. We had a coach and we were excelling, we were doing well, we were doing very, we had a lot of seniors, a lot of leadership, a lot of talent. I remember we had a practice in the summer and I don't believe there was no water. It wasn't working. So there was no water break. And we busted it out. We gutted it out. We did our thing. And, we sit down, we break down, and the coach is like, great job. I'm not going to say his name. I ain't going to disrespect him. Great job, guys. You did great. Whatever it is. But let's get on the line. Let's go run. And here I am, 17-year-old, 16 years old. And I'm like, dude, we just had a great practice. Everyone's a senior. We know what we're doing. we're not gaining anything by running conditioning in the summer at the end of practice. I was told that we had a great tough practice with no water. You know, there was guys, even joking around like, man, I'm about to just pass out, fake it around. But that just shows you the kind of connection that you have with your team. That's the kind of connection to a head coach. No, he didn't gain any followers, I'll say, by making that decision. On the flip side, coach, we played together. There was times where, and we've talked to Pigram, and other Blake guys are like, man, we're running suicides and we're doing that, we're doing this. And coach, you kept our legs fresh, shooting drills. I'd rather you guys doing shooting drills than running around doing nothing, killing your legs. Stay on your feet. I remember there was one thing you used to always tell us, coach, after the game: stay off your feet, go get down, put your feet up, guys. Don't be walking around chasing people, doing that stuff like that. And you got a better product, you got a better team. You know what I'm saying? We better could focus, not worry, because we have to run and stuff. The only time we ran is because we get in trouble, which means that we just did stop getting in trouble. I believe there was very few times to being late for practice, things like that. So on the I do understand why it doesn't necessarily correlate it to the injuries. I will say it is connecting to that team and building that relationship, because I could see as Lamar Jackson being the best piece on that team, I don't want to play right now. I'm injured. I'm banged up. And I can see other people who are like, well, I'm banged up too. That's relationship problems. Now the coaches, man, Lamar, why aren't you in there? Those are relationship problems. And of course, they were saying that they were having a lot of relationship issues and they were going back and forth each other and things that they didn't like. So probably part of it was he wasn't practicing, or he just didn't want to, or he was too hurt. And he was like, I'm not, nah, I know the play. But I'm with him. By the time we're in December and we're an NFL coach, an LFL team, we're not having new plays. We're not having a super, annex of Puerto Rico where we have to figure things out and we've been doing the same stuff for months. Why are we still hitting especially when you start losing guys? When we start losing guys. Okay, the top cornerback injured. Okay, our best linebacker hurt. Okay, maybe I should take a tone back. Maybe I should relax a little bit. But he is not. He is more. See, and that's the problem is, and I hope it doesn't happen with the Giants. He thinks he's bigger than the team. He's the coach. He like, you're not part of it. And I think that part of it was the disconnect, and that never allowed the Ravens to get to the next level, because when the Chiefs went through the same injuries that they followed through, it just seemed like it wasn't an issue. They kind of went through their thing. Somebody got healthy, and then they just excelled. So that's my thoughts. Oh, God.
Connors, you used to coach football. You know football way more than I do, and I will never say that. Does Zay Flowers have a case, or is this you young kids just too soft these days? What do you think?
Yes,
Because he's your coach now.
I know, and I'm an old school disciplined guy. I grew up playing for disciplined coaches. My junior and senior year, in high school, we had a new coach come in, all kinds of discipline. He was a Penn State disciple, and I was a Giant fan. I mean, I grew up with Tom Coughlin's son. We went to high school together. Coughlin was a disciplinarian. He was known for being rigid. But the one thing that he did over time was evolve. It was very well noted that his team philosophy was, if you're 5 minutes early for a meeting, you're late. So you had to be there ultra early. Him and Michael Strahan had a famous blowout over that. And you know what Tom Coughlin did? He listened and he evolved. Did he still hold his team accountable? Yes, but he listened to them and moved forward with their best interest and their opinion in mind. Now, the buck stopped with him. He still made the final decision, but he showed the maturity and leadership to adjust his system, not at the will of his players, but to find a better harmony with his players. And that's what coaches do. We all have that one kid that putting your arm around him and talking to him gently is going to be the best thing to do for him. We also know that player that getting in his grill and kicking him in the ass is the drive that he needs. And as coaches, we need to figure out which one of those our players need. Sometimes, like, I was one that if you yelled at me, I could shut down unless I knew that you were yelling at me for my betterment. I mean, my offensive line coach was a second father to me. I mean, I was lucky. I have the best father in the world, and my offensive line coach, Coach Smith, was like a second father to me. He held me accountable. He'd chew me out. Now move that fat ass, Connors. And then he'd come up to me afterwards, put his hand on my shoulder and say, I love that fat ass. And that's all I needed. I knew the coach loved me. I knew he was yelling at me because he knew that I could do better. And that's what you have to figure out. And hopefully Harbaugh will learn from this. I mean, he wouldn't have been with the Ravens for 18 years if his system didn't work. Let's be honest. I mean, how many coaches nowadays get 2 years? You don't sign your contract for 5 years and you're not guaranteed to be there for 5 years. So his system works. He knows the game. Now, did his contract, at the end of his regime there, did it sour? Maybe. We've talked about this before. Sometimes it's just time for a change. No one did anything wrong. It's not you, it's me. The old famous breakup. But sometimes couples look at each other and like, you know what? You're a great person. I'm a great person. We're just better apart than together. So hopefully Harbaugh can take this, look at what happened. And is this guy, Zay Flowers or whatever his name is, playing a little bit too much? I think so. I mean, the guy's out the door. You don't need to bash him. And I don't think any coach should bash a player either. And I don't know if Harbaugh has in the press. I haven't read that. But, just, you keep your mouth. I wish him the best. It didn't work here. Let's move on. So, hey, we'll see what happens. He's obviously a good coach. Everything we said that the Giants needed was discipline and stability. And after 18 years there, that's what he has. He's very Coughlin-like. So hopefully he can learn from this and maybe tone it back a little bit. But, that discipline is also what got him to where he is. His brother's a disciplined guy also. Their dad who taught them. He was at a school for 22 years, I believe, as a head coach. You don't get with that with luck, So these guys know what they're doing. So hopefully they can evolve. I mean, in the 80s, running back was the most important position. Now we talk about running backs being interchangeable. You don't need a star running back. So we'll see if he can change with the times.
Yeah, I'm paused because whenever they say player-friendly coaches, I always think how much you're going to lose when championship season hits. Because at some point, we're going to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
At some point, you're going to have to do things you didn't feel like doing. So for me as a coach, I am an over-communicator, and that's one of the best things and worst things about playing for Adams is you're going to exactly know how Adams feels at any given moment. And for some people, that's great. For some people, I didn't want to know. But by the end of the season, it's time and score. No matter what the sport is, if it's a team sport, it's time and score. It's situations. It's all of the different little nuances. It's not, let's go do the Oklahoma trip.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put my team through a full game. But I'm going to say, hey, put 2 minutes on the clock. It's the second quarter, and here's an estimated score. We're going to play from there. And Will, you've got 2 fouls. Don't pick up a third. Let's go get them and play a good, hard 2 minutes. And okay, so now when we're in a game situation, we know how to deal with that situation. Football to me got to be kind of similar. So I don't want to hit that. It's already a physical, violent game. I ain't going to try to kill it. Week 17, that's just me. But go ahead, Connors.
And as coaches, it's like being in a school. If you're the administrator of school and everyone's happy with you, you're not doing your job right. If you're a coach and if those 53 men on that roster and the 28 men on the practice squad are all thrilled with you every week, you're not doing something right.
Yeah, I agree. All right. So in segment 3, safety and security are our number one priority, is except in the NFL because replacement refs may be here. We'll have that conversation. We'll be right back on the Odd Coaches Podcast. Hi, everyone. Dr. Keith Adams here. And for over 30 years, I've dedicated my life to helping student athletes succeed, not just on the fields and the courts, but in the classroom and beyond. And that's why I founded the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project understands that finding the balance between academics and athletics is crucial for long-term success. That's why the CKA Save Project offers a range of programs, including personalized consulting, mentorship, and coming in 2027, our innovative Gap Year Basketball Academy designed to assist both young men and women reach their full potential both on and off the court. I'm incredibly excited to announce that the CKA Save Project is now partnering with the Cascade Sports Network. This partnership will allow us the opportunity to amplify our message and reach even more student athletes through the Odd Coaches podcast and other exciting initiatives. Join the CKA Save Project and the Cascade Sports Network as we empower the next generation of student athletes. Visit CKA on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org to learn more. Let's work together to find the balance and help unlock your potential. Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast. That is segment 3. The NFL activates contingency plans. So the current collective bargaining agreement between the NFL and the NFL Referees Association expires May 31st, 2026, so there's still time. Negotiations have stalled after nearly 2 years. Deadlines for actions. The NFL has offered a 6.45 annual raise. The average official pay was $385,000 in 2025. Good work if you can get it. But the union is reportedly pushing for a 10% raise and resisting structural changes to probationary periods and playoff assignments. The league has already begun background checks and physicals for several potential replacements. Training sessions are set to begin May 1st. If you ever want to be an official, folks, don't do it because this is going to end soon, and people don't like that. I'm sure Connors will mention that. The move mirrors the 2012 lockout, which lasted 110 days and famously culminated in the Hail Mary game-ending disaster in Seattle. The league is starting training earlier this time to avoid a repeat of that incompetence. It's still coming. You also have NFL owners recently passed rule changes giving the New York Officiating Center broader authority to intervene and correct calls via video feed in real time, a clear safeguard for less experienced replacement crews. Finally, a league source noted that once onboarding begins, reaching a deal will become harder due to simple economics of the sunk cost in training a new roster. Connors, what are we doing, man? Get these referees back in there. What are you thinking, sir?
First of all, if my part-time job pays me $385,000 a year, the only thing I'm saying is thank you when they hand me a check. Second of all, as a teacher, if I got a 6.45% pay increase, I'd be doing backflips. So, that being said, I understand that people want to get what their value is, and I can't argue with that. But you also can't lose focus of the forest through the trees. I mean, this is a business. I understand that, but you also have to understand your role in that business. The referees can be replaced. Patrick Mahomes cannot and expect the same result. I don't go to the games to watch the officials. I go to watch the stars. Same thing in baseball. I don't want to watch the umpires. I want to watch Aaron Judge hit the ball 9,000 feet at 400 miles an hour. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see Joe West, make a call and throw someone out of a game. That's not what I'm going for. So I have a hard time having sympathy for people who make an exorbitant amount of money, like the NFL referees, and then wanting something that I believe is unreasonable. Now, 10%, no, I think that's an unreasonable number almost for any profession. Now, if they make it a full-time job and they raise that because they need to get health care and this and that, then that's a different animal. But if you're working 18 weekends a year with travel and stuff like that, and a couple of weeks over the summer for new rules and this and that, and I'm sure I don't know everything that they do. It could be a lot more than that. But come on. Almost $400,000 a year to work on Sundays for 6 hours of a game, traveling around. My heart does not break for them. It does not. It just doesn't make sense to me. Should they get something? Absolutely. What should they get? I don't know. But this does not paint them in a very good light. Let's just be honest.
All right, Cotton Man, you're my regular guy. These numbers came across your desk. What do you think, sir?
Connor's pretty much said, a good amount of it. We're in America right now, and if you're making, $380K for just 18 weekends, you're not going to find a lot of people who are going to sympathize with your cause. A big thing that I think pops up, the average age of the referee in the NFL is 51 years old.
Our good friend Robert would tell you that.
Not old. That's not what I'm saying. But there's really not a great transitional process to get younger referees onto the game, because you still have a lot of guys in their 60s who still watch the games. Mind you, I'm watching guys run down the sideline. I'm like, you're 53 years old running down a guy who's 21 with a 4.3 40 down the sideline, and you're going to tell me you saw that he held him, clear as day, it's just difficult. It's not, it's an imperfect sort of process, and again, when you're making $385,000 a year, I'm not letting that job go. I'm holding on to it. I would work as I got to do. So if on two factors: one, we're not replacing you; two, you get paid better than some of the players that you're actually reffing sometimes. And again, there's really no measurement. No one's gonna, people will call you out, but nobody knows for the most part, nobody knows the names of the referees, for the most part.
They do now, strictly fencing.
Oh yeah, you can now. But
if you know Scott Foster in the NBA, I'm sure they know somebody.
I'm sure every ref in the NFL and the NBA could walk into Walmart, buy something, and be left alone. They wouldn't have to worry about something like that. Hey man, what about week 13? They ain't gonna do that.
That wasn't a hold. That wasn't a hold.
Exactly. Well played.
So it's just one of those things where it's like, you really don't have much leverage because you get so much support. So we'll see what happens, but they don't have much to stand on in terms of, what more do you want? It's like, do you want to make $1 million? Do you not want to work? You don't want young people you don't want younger refs come in, and you're not the product we're looking for. We're not here. Nobody comes here with a ref jersey talking about, man, I'm here for I'm here for Ed Hockley. I'm here for Hockley. No, you're not. So, get off their mic. Got it.
So our last story, the 18-game itch. So an 18-game season is considered inevitable, projected for the next CBA at the earliest 2028, at the latest 2031. So you got a couple of non-negotiables. Players will likely demand a second bye week, which they should have. And college football is talking about week 0 and having a neat and tidy 14-week season with 12 games and 2 bye weeks. The league will reduce the preseason from 3 games to 2. And if you're betting on preseason football, you need to go to a meeting, by the way. And an 18th game is estimated to generate over $1 billion of additional revenue. Yeah, we're going to get an 18th game. The NBA, though, has a problem, and it's seeping into the NFL. There's concerns of diluting late season games. Data shows that the final 2 weeks of the NFL season, the percentage of close games, which is deemed 8 points or fewer, drops from 53.6% to 47.6%. You also have competitive integrity gaps. While the NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell denies tanking is a current issue, league sources worry that the more games will lead into more season-ending injuries and more low-leverage matchups where stars are rested. 18 games facilitated the goal of 16 international games as well, and a proposal by the Detroit Lions suggests division winners should get a playoff spot, but not a guaranteed home game. Connors, I am going to come back to you with that. With the 18 games and different things they're looking to leverage, what are your thoughts, my friend?
Well, let's look at a couple different things. Preseason, okay, used to be 4 games. Cut it back to 3 when they had the week. Let's cut that. Let's be honest. What do we get out of that? Nothing. Have a couple more controlled scrimmages, 1 preseason game, boom, then we go. That's realistic. And let's be honest, it comes down to dollars. If they play an 18th game, contracts are going to go up. We're not going to be hitting in practice because Zay said we can't for those late weeks. So, we'll be healthier. And I've said this a million times on this podcast. The NFL is the best business mind out there. They don't do something as a knee-jerk reaction. Okay. If it's going to generate $1 billion for the NFL with 1 week of extra games, that's going to happen. It's going to happen. So, what can we, as players, as refs, what can we do to lessen the burden on us? It comes down to money. Okay, we want an extra bye. Okay, we'll put an extra bye week in. We can do that. We're going to stretch the season out. The Super Bowl will now be on President's Day weekend, so the country will have the day off because everyone's been screaming for Super Bowl Saturday, but now it can still be Super Bowl Sunday, and we all have Monday off. So, I mean, there are things that can come of this that work out for everybody. But like I said, the NFL does their homework on these things to be successful. If they weren't going to do it, they wouldn't have been working on it for the last 5 years and talking about extending the season. Okay. Now, are some of the games diluted? 46 to 52. I don't care. I don't care. I'm going to watch the games. I don't care if they win by 27-20 or 35-16. I don't care. I'm going to watch the games. If they're on Netflix, I'm going to watch the game. If it's on Amazon Prime, I'm going to watch the game. If they play in Australia, I'm going to watch the game. If they play in India, I'm going to watch the game. Because you know why? I'm going to watch the game.
Oh, man. All right, Cotton Man. You know 18's coming.
Mhm.
It was, as Nikita said, it's holy Maratha. Well, what do you think about the negotiations to get to 18?
They'll go really smoothly. They'll go really smoothly because I'm with them. I'm with Connors, and I'll go and everything he said is 100% correct. I'm gonna watch. But one thing I'll take is, get rid of one of those damn preseason games. You gonna know why? Because they're not preseason prices when you go to the stadium. They're full price. And I'm not here to see a bunch of bums. And you put in, fourth and fifth and sixth round and undrafted guys, and it's unwatchable football. But hey, the beers are still $15. There's something wrong with that. Might as well be an actual game that matters. Especially if like Connor says, if we're going to adjust it either on the back end or on the front end makes it Labor Day. That's a great start as the season. I mean, everyone's going to be off. You can do a double header on Sunday because everyone's going to be Monday. You can have your regular Monday Night Football. The only people that would have to adjust on that would be fantasy football league commissioners because you would have to get the draft before Labor Day, which could be a little difficult, but not a big thing because we would get it done
You would get it done.
As a commissioner would get it done. And people want it by August. People are like, what are we doing now? We're gonna start getting BS stories. We found that somebody like pink lemonade rather than regular lemonade, and is that gonna mean a factor in this? Come on, man.
And college is trying to do week 0 for everyone starting in 2027, which means you start the Thursday before Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, do it.
They're seeing where the tea leaves are going with the NFL.
They already saw it, Coach. When you send us that, I said, "Oh yeah, NFL." They know that they're lucky the NFL gave them a heads up. They said, "Look, we getting a game. Might be on Labor Day." All right, cool. We go. Gotcha.
We're gonna push everybody back.
And Christmas, who are you watching on Christmas? Are you going to watch a good football game or an incredible basketball game? I'm watching a good football game.
The data said already who won that one.
The NFL, nothing is bigger than the Shield.
Nothing. And they got you on all kinds of stream. You can watch on your phone, another stream on the other joints. So they make you do it all. So it's I'm not against it. I'm with you. I would watch it, and I would watch two guys playing football in their backyard if that's what you're showing. I love the game. So let's go.
All right. So to close, and my panel will give me grace, and I appreciate it. This is WrestleMania weekend, and for the first time probably ever, I'm not watching the entire thing because, quite frankly, I've been priced out. So I've been a wrestling fan since 1982. I saw WrestleMania 1 after church at Coalfield House on closed circuit TV. I'm talking about WWF, NWA, AWA, UWF, Mid-South, ECW, TNA, AEW and our local MCW. Shout out to Maryland Championship Wrestling. I've attended a number of major events over my 40 years of fandom, from Starrcade to SummerSlam to Survivor Series to the Great American Bash at RFK Stadium, WrestleMania 26 in Phoenix. We took Victor and Tommy out there, had a great time. I've provided 3 generations of students, student athletes, and staff with random wrestling references. I have a player here who knew more wrestling information than he ever wanted to, and no one asked that. And turns of wrestling is a part of everyone in my life's daily lexicon. Who booked this? I don't have a pencil. Sometimes you got to do the JOB on the PPV, and that was Connor's when I asked him to teach a certain class that I know he didn't want to, but I needed a favor, and he begrudgingly said yes, and he got the last period of the day off. Yeah, the things you do. It's the things you do. And put over like Andre did Hogan. But again, they priced me out of the market. It's not just the WWE, it's everyone, but man, it sucks. It's a bucket list of mine to attend the Royal Rumble in person, but it ain't happening no time soon. And I know that no one cares. I still consume the product, just not as actively as I did, and it's their fault, but they don't care because TKO and everyone else is making money hand over fist. So they're less in-person events, they're higher cost, and that equals less engagement on my part, but I still love the sport of kings. It's just different for me, and that's on me, not them. So God bless YouTube so I can watch the Horsemen anytime I want to. So on behalf of my cavalcade of stars, I'm Dr. Keith Adams saying thank you for listening and or watching the Odd Coaches podcast, also seen on the Cascade Sports Network, and we will see you on the sidelines. Until next time, take care. Woo!
We hope you enjoyed today's show. The Odd Coaches podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Make sure you subscribe to the Odd Coaches podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Follow the Odd Coaches podcast on the X platform at Odd Coaches. Follow Dr. Keith Adams and the CKA Save Project on social media at CKA Save Project. For more information about the CKA Save Project, visit them on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org. See you next time on the Odd Coaches podcast.